obviously you'd like to not trade the 12th pick in this draft. You'd like to not trade any first-round picks at all if possible. And the way I'm looking at it is, bear with me here. If the Niners trade for Stafford, they're going to probably trade Jimmy to the Patriots.
Yeah,
and if the Niners – no, I'm not going to say that. But if the Niners acquire Stafford and they still haven't moved Jimmy yet, those are two very expensive contracts on the books. The Niners have to get rid of Jimmy. Can't the Patriots just sit back and wait and be like, well, now you got to cut him. We're just going to wait. You're going to cut him.
In my mind, Jimmy Garoppolo is. I've said numerous times on Twitter, if they get anything for him, I think it's a plus. I don't see anything worse. I don't think anything better than a 4.
I think you can make this a 3-way trade. Hear me out. I feel like if you're going to send Jimmy to the Patriots, whatever the Patriots were going to send you back, have them send it to Detroit. Whatever that pick is, send it to Detroit. You send a second to Detroit. Jimmy goes to New England. You get Matthew Stafford. Detroit gets picks. Does that not work? I think that works.
It works, but the only thing is Bill going to sit back and be like, they're going to cut him anyway. So
exactly.
I'll just cut him and it's cheaper. I mean,
yeah.
That's the only thing. That's what I'm saying. I don't see a team that Garoppolo contract. That's a hefty contract in a year where teams are striving to get cap space, and
all I would say, any team that trades for Garoppolo has to extend him the way the Niners would want to extend Stafford. Can't have him on that contract.
Right, but do you want to extend the guy that's been injured a lot?
Only New England would, I think, maybe because they love him. But I don't know if they still like him like that. Only New England would, in my mind, because they know him. They know him.
They know him.
They know him. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think.
Listen, if they can do it, if they can get something for Garoppolo, they should do it.
Right. And I'm thinking that because honestly, I feel like if they trade for Stafford and they haven't got rid of Garoppolo yet, they're just going to have to cut him. So maybe a 3-way deal is the best way to do it.
Yeah. The thing I want to say about draft picks, though, is I think people have to remember this year they're actually worth more than in the past because the cap is lower. So when the cap is lower, the draft is cheap labor. So for teams to get cheap labor on their roster, it's going to be they want it. So it's going to be premium. So draft picks worth more than in years past and years in the future. That's why I say if they can try to keep as many of these draft picks they have this year, it's going to be a plus.
All right. Last Stafford topic before we move on. We talked about like why he's not elite. Would you consider, is there, instead of saying who he reminds you of, who's the opposite of Stafford? Who is the anti-Stafford in your opinion?
Eli Manning.
Why?
Manning, because he's had regular seasons and he hasn't been great. He's thrown a million picks and whatever, but once he gets into the playoffs, I mean, that's lights out. I mean, I think if you're a Niners fan, you can remember that NFC Championship game where that Niner defense just brutalized him.
Yep.
And he kept getting back up, and won the game and helped them win the game. So, and he's beat Tom Brady twice.
Yep.
So his 2 championships were against Tom Brady. So, he's a guy that doesn't have great regular season, but in the playoffs, he's pretty special.
Yeah, and it seems like – well, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to say, and when you look at it, because I like to look at does this quarterback create receivers? Eli Manning create receivers. Hakeem Nicks, Manningham. Remember, the Niners signed Manningham, I think, after he had a 1,000-yard year with Eli. Victor Cruz. These guys went.
What has Odell Beckham been since he left the Giants?
His best years were under Eli, and he was complaining about it.
Yeah.
So
that's true. And then you look at Stafford. What wide receivers has he created or elevated?
Calvin Johnson. Yeah. Calvin. I think he's had good receivers. Calvin Johnson, Golden Tate, Nate Burleson, but I think some of those receivers, they came and they had success elsewhere. So
Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones. They came elsewhere. So you saw the product elsewhere. Hey, they were doing something elsewhere, and then they came to Stafford, still had success. You've seen these guys from like Eli, you've seen them have success with him, and then they go elsewhere and nothing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's enough of Stafford, but it's interesting to think of him in that sense.